Our first matchup we're going to look at is the Team of Destiny versus the Toilet Bowl loser last year, Corey Bushland.
The olive branch has been extended. Mason, do you accept my terms of a bet?
And what the bet is if Corey loses, he actually has to sing the American National Anthem in a cute little outfit that I picked out for him.
We are unfortunately going to be seeing you guys next week in the dumbest outfit of all time, and you guys are about to hear the pipes. Get ready.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Go Colts, nay!
In spirit of that beautiful song from Corey Bushland, let me clap it up. Clap it up for Corey. I mean, he did great. I mean, it is amazing how I continue to beat these guys into the ground week after week after week, yet they still have the fighting spirit. They still think that they can come to the big dog with the challenge. It's so damn funny, but I want to give him his props. He has the courage, he has the delusion, whatever you want to call it. But I did need to just check the temperature because I was looking around this league going, you know what? God dang, the Americans are dominating. I mean, we saw this last year, right? Obviously, Avery wins the league, an American. We see Bush, somebody from Canada, losing the league. And I'm starting to think maybe just Americans are better at fantasy football. So I went ahead and I combined all the records for everybody in this league because we have 6 Americans and we have 6 internationals. I think that's the correct term. If it's not, I apologize. I'm a dumb American. But the Americans right now are currently sitting at 35 and 25. Sal and myself, we have the top 2 spots. Then you have Avery and Thomas also in the playoffs. So 4 out of the 6 playoff teams are Americans, and we have just as many international teams, but they are 25 and 35. The Americans have 10 more wins. We are dominating across the board, and I don't know who's going to step up for the Canadian team, for the Australian team, whatever y'all want to do, but it's getting to the point where it's embarrassing, and it's like Mexico trying to go up against the United States in basketball at the Olympics.
Week 11 in the Flock League, and this week is so important for so many different teams in this league. It's like maybe a last chance to potentially make a playoff push to try and get a bye for some teams. And I think my matchup against Badaki is like a top 5 matchup of the year right now in terms of storylines. Badaki's on a 4-game winning streak. He was 0-6. It was looking real grim for Badaki, losing Malik Neighbors, losing a bunch of different players. And now he's turned it all around. He's 1 game out of a playoff spot with 4 weeks to play. So he's very much live and in this. And I'm pretty sure every single person watching these videos involved with this league is rooting for Badaki this week. I'm the only one that is rooting for myself. And that's fair. That's fair. Everyone loves the Cinderella story. And as of right now, it looks like it's a 50-50 coin flip. We're both projected for around 120 points this week. As of right now, I'm not currently starting an RB2. I try to pick up Sean Tucker. The waiver wire is really bare in this league. And at this point, I'm not even sure if it's worth picking anybody up. Even though Jonathan Taylor's on his bye week, after all the lovely things he's done for my team this week, I'm half tempted to just put him in there, start him, let him get that 0 just so he never has to leave the starting lineup and doesn't feel slighted. So we'll keep looking at the waivers. We'll keep looking at potential trade options in the league this week for swapping one of my depth receivers for a running back, but it's going to be a close matchup right now.
Alrighty, Sal. So both of us are kind of in a bind. I have dropped 2 in a row to Mason and Badaki. So I now all of a sudden need to focus on making the playoffs rather than getting a bye week, which is where my mind was at about 2 weeks ago. But we have a lot of kind of things that can match up because you have Jonathan Taylor on bye. I have some short-term running back options. So what are you thinking? I'll give you the floor as far as like who you're actually interested in.
Yeah, I need a running back. I have 3 total running backs on my roster, and 2 of them are on bye. And I mean, like Badaki being on a streak and all this, it actually matters. Like I want to beat him to just officially clinch a bye spot. I put into the chat, like I need an RB. You were the only one who answered. So just based on the running backs you have, I assume that means that Kamani Vidal and Tyron Tracy are up for a potential trade.
I would be more inclined to move Vidal if I wasn't so desperate for a win myself against Thomas, who suddenly has like a much better team now than he did 3 to 4 weeks ago. I think Tracy's a good starting point as far as what he can provide you. I think that makes sense as like the first 2 kind of launching points is like Kamara for Tracy. But I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I need a little bit more on top of it.
So obviously my priority is to win this week, but I also want rest of season, these running backs matter. So when it comes to Vidal, yeah, like I think I probably get 1 usable week out of him. I would probably just trade Fab, which doesn't really help you at that point. I mean, the way that I have so much depth wide receivers and not a lot of running backs to give, Kamara is like the only one that makes sense. The dude's only been on my team for a week. I really don't care that much about him. Would you do, I mean, I have Kamara in one of my receivers for like a Tracy in one of your receivers. I don't really want Brandon Ayuk. Josh Downs and Tracy for like Kamara and Reed, if you think he's coming back soon. He's in my IR.
Yeah, I think Reed is the one that makes the most sense to me. I think I could probably make that work. And like Downs is a usable option. It's not like a superstar or anything that I'm throwing you back. So I don't feel like he'll kill me too much.
Yeah, I could do Kamara and Reed for Tracy and Downs. I'd be Downs for that.
You'd be Downs for that? Yeah, I mean, I wanted to IR stash Hunter and Ayuk, but then Hunter got ruled out for the season. So I think Reed makes sense.
Beautiful. A win-win. Lovely doing business. Yeah, so those deal with Bush. I acquire Tyron Tracy, Josh Downs. I send Alvin Kamara, and I send Jaden Reed. I think it helps both teams. First off, I just want to win this week. Anything I could do to win this week. I had 2 running backs on bye. I only had 3 on my roster. Nobody on the waivers, so I needed a running back. And the reason why I wanted to win this week, I could afford to lose. I just want to secure the bye. If I get a bye secured this week, and now I have 4 or 5 weeks until my actual fantasy matchup in week 16 of the playoffs, bye in week 15, that feels good. I think this helps both of our teams, and it definitely helps me immediately right now with Tyron Tracy in the lineup.
So me and Sal get a trade done. I think it was really helpful for my team before the Marvin Harrison news, because with Marvin Harrison healthy, I was assuming I could take on Alvin Kamara's bye no problem. The reason I made this move primarily was after Ramondre Stevenson was traded away from Sal's team to go get Alvin Kamara. I was kind of pissed at Zach low-key because in week 14, without Ramondre Stevenson and without Christian McCaffrey, I was going to have a much easier matchup versus Sal. So me trading Tyrone Tracy kind of has like two effects to it, because A, I get an easier matchup in week 14 against Sal because Tyrone Tracy was on bye, and also 2, this week getting Sal a win would also affect me positively because it would get Badaki a loss, and Badaki's suddenly chasing my heels for a playoff spot, so that also helps. Doesn't really affect me in any way if Sal continues to win games. And of course, I do need a win this week against Thomas.
I think that is the grossest trade I have ever seen. Oh, I might puke. Congratulations to Sal and Bush. What a stinker.
Week 11 in the Flock League, where each passing week becomes more and more crucial. 4 games left in the fantasy football regular season. 2 wins separating 3rd through 11th in the standings. 1 loss could be the difference between making the playoffs or sitting at Denny's at the end of the year. But starting at the top of the standings, we have Sal Vetri at 9-1. The only team clinched for the playoffs in the Flock League. He's had the great year, headlined by Christian McCaffrey, headlined by Jonathan Taylor, but he's taken on the next hottest team in the league, and that's going to be Badaki. Badaki right in the mix, 4-6 record. Started at 0-6, so it looked like his season was lost, only to turn it around, and now his team's peaking at the right time. He catches Sal with no Jonathan Taylor. Can the underdog get yet another win on the board?
So for the first time since maybe week 1 or week 2, underdog mentality for Team Sal. I think this is good. I think this is good right now. We've been riding way too high lately. We're coming off of a huge week. We now don't have our best player, the captain of our team, Jonathan Taylor. I think this is a good test to see if we can continue. And the big thing is, if I get one more win, or Sammy loses one more time this year, it's one or the other, and I secure a first round bye. So we get there with a win this week, or whoever Sammy is facing the rest of the season, we're rooting just as hard for that team.
All right, in honor of playing Sal week, I figured I'd put my life on the line here and take a page out of his book and drive while recording, because that's what Sal does on a weekly basis. And I said, you know what, if I want to beat somebody at the top, maybe I need to put myself in their shoes. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. And oddly enough, I'm on a way to the barbershop, what Sal also does on a weekly basis. So I'm just getting into the man's head as much as I possibly can here. Look, Sal did trade for Tyrone Tracy. Is this something that I am worried about? Yes, but also no at the same time. And let me tell you why. I just know as a Giants fan, he's not going to do much because he's playing the Green Bay Packers. I mean, a team that is probably one of the best run defenses in the league right now. So it's a tough hill to climb here to beat Sal Vetri. But I'm trying to do everything that I possibly can to get into this man's head. You know what Sal reminds me of right now? I'm Cinderella and I just made this beautiful dress out of scraps. And I said, I hope to go to the ball, AKA the playoffs. And what Sal just did to me right then, he's the evil sisters, the evil stepsisters. You know that scene where they come in and they start ripping off the beautiful dress that she just made? That's what Sal just did with that trade. But for me, there's still hope. So Sal, I hope you lose. I really, really do.
Next matchup on the horizon at number 2, we have the self-proclaimed king of the league, Mason, at 8-2, trying to join Sal in his clinching of his playoff spot. If he is able to take me down this week, Mason will be the second team to clinch playoffs in the Flock League, and everything is at stake for me as well. For a team that doesn't have a lot of points for and a 4-6 record, I have fallen down to the 11th place spot in this league. I'm still in the mix. I'm one game out of the 6th seed right now, and I got to start building momentum. I don't care about 4-6. I don't care about least points for in the league. All that matters is these next 4 weeks, and we want to string 4 wins together. Mason, he's going to be chirping on the other end. He's going to be talking about how dominant he is, how bad FSC is, and man, I need to avenge Corey, and I need to avenge my loss from last season. Should be a heavyweight bout. I can't wait. The theme of the Flock League this week is vengeance. Vengeance against Mason last year for losing to him, for having to do my rendition of the American anthem. Vengeance for Corey for losing the same bet to Mason last week, having to do his performance of the American national anthem. But Mason, you might have won once, you might have won twice. You're not winning a third time when it comes to an FSC bet. I challenge you this week. It's very simple. If I win, you have to record all of your clips next week wearing one of these on your head. I need to see you wearing a helmet in every single one of your clips. And if you take me down, I'll do every clip shirtless. The ball is in your court.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, Danny. And while everybody here knows I would win that bet, I can't accept. The reason being is, one, if we were to put you on YouTube shirtless, our views would absolutely plummet to the ground. I can't even imagine what it would do. We are this close to hitting 50,000 subscribers, and by Monday, I'm pretty sure we'd be sitting at about 9,000. Now, the second reason is while a lot of people in the comment section have correctly identified that I'm a great guy, nice guy, just dominant at fantasy, beautiful, athletic, handsome, hilarious, a genius level smart, what nobody has thought is that I am rude, that I'm an ass sometimes. Like, that thought would never cross anybody's mind, except if I were to go through and accept a bet from Danny Ladd. Because right now, I have clearly demonstrated over the past 2 years in this league that nobody can come close to this level of talent. I have more wins than anybody else, and it's not even close over the past 2 years. While at the same time, Danny has the fewest amount of points in this league, while at the same time, I think Danny may have the worst record in this league over the past 2 seasons, and he's looking at back-to-back years in the toilet bowl. So if I were to accept a bet like this, it would be seen as a senior in high school, maybe walking over to the local middle school, pushing a kid down, and then giving him beef stew from Benchwarmers. So I can't accept that just out of the kindness of my heart, my friend. I really am rooting for you this week, and I'm not gonna lie, Danny has a good shot this week, because if you look at every move that Danny has made all season long, it's just, oh, let me load up on rookies. Oh, let me trade for every player who gets injured. And then maybe by the time I get to the end of the season, I'll have a good team. And it looks like he now does have a good team. Now, one thing that he forgot to think about is you have to get to the fantasy football playoffs to have a chance at winning that $10,000. And I mean, those chances are long gone. Sal put him in the grave last week, and I'm almost rooting for him because, again, I like the guy. I want him to do well. And I'm tired of this league being predictable where you know what's going to happen before it even does.
Next on the horizon, we have the third place Sammy Stacks taking on fourth place Avery. Heavyweight bout. Both these teams have everything on the line, and given how close this league is, you can't let up for one single week. With Sammy, maybe you're getting Ricky Pearsall back. The team's starting to show you signs of life. He's on a 3-game win streak. Avery coming off of a big loss in week 10 without half of his lineup. When we did the contender rankings, we had Sammy on the outside of the top 6, and we had Avery as a top 3 team in the league. But Sammy doesn't care, man. He's been the underdog all year, and let's see if he can have yet another underdog effort this week and take sole possession of that third place spot.
We have made it to week 11 in the Flock League, and this week the Fan Wagon, the team of the people, we're matched up against Avery in our final creator matchup of the regular season. There probably will come another one in the playoffs because it looks like the Fan Wagon is playoff bound. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Avery is also trying to punch his ticket into the playoffs. He's coming off a week where his entire team was on bye. He's struggling at running back with Amari and Hampton still in the IR. Thank goodness that they decided to push his return past their bye week. The thing about this matchup between me and Avery is Avery was, talking a bunch of shit when I was in Austin about the Tennessee Titans. Even in my audition clip, he said that I don't have anything to smile about because I'm a Titans fan. While he may be correct, I will not be disrespected. And I will not let my franchise, which I love unconditionally, be disrespected. And so I've been waiting for week 11. It's been circled. And I would like to propose a little wager. Avery is a Colts fan, a division rival of my Tennessee Titans. And so Avery, I am going to propose that the loser of this matchup for next week's videos must wear a piece of merch of the opposing team of the winner's choosing. So if I want you to put on a Titans onesie, that's my choice. A friendly wager, nothing too crazy. Let me know what you think.
It is time to put my money where my mouth is and face the Titans fan, Sammy. Now, Sammy has proposed a bet for this week with our matchup, which by the way is like a 50-50 matchup. Who knows which way this will go. Sammy has proposed that the loser of this matchup wear the merch of the other person's favorite team, Sammy's being the Titans, mine being the Colts. The Colts are 41-22 all time against the Tennessee Titans. It's not really even a rivalry. It's more the Titans just kind of perpetually suck. But Sammy, I think your bet's too soft. So I'm gonna up the ante a little bit. How about the loser of this matchup not only has to wear the merch of the other person's favorite team, but also has to do a TikTok dance in the merch. The winner picks the dance. The loser is going to be humiliated in front of tens of thousands of people for their entire life. I really hope I don't lose, but let me know if you accept. Let's up the ante a little bit.
So Avery wants to raise the stakes, throw in a TikTok dance. I'm not a TikTok guy myself, but as you saw in the draft order video, I'm quite coordinated. Honestly, this might be a good thing if I lose this week. Maybe get noticed by Dance Studio. Maybe end up on Dancing with the Stars, given my newfound fame. So, Avery, I'll accept your terms, and I can't wait to see you doing the Renegade in the Titans onesie.
We also have the current 5 and 6 seed duking it out this week between Bush and Thomas, the editor, both jockeying for their positions in the playoffs, and we got a close matchup on the horizon. The current sleeper projection is favoring Bush at a 52% rate. We'll see what ends up happening on the field. And with Bush being embarrassed having to sing the American national anthem, he is looking for vengeance on the US.
I wanted to have a little check-in with my team, but I'm distracted by Avery's blue eyes and beautiful living room and home theater. So first off, congrats to Avery for the life that everybody dreams of. Second off, we need to have a serious talk with our team, because Team Unk has suffered two of the most brutal losses that I've had all season. And I think part of it has been mindset of the coaching staff, AKA me. I've been very focused on how my opponent is doing. Oh, we're sweating out Mason's points. Oh, we're sweating out this, we're sweating out that. I'm kind of done with it. I need my team to just drop a 160 point hammer on Thomas's head top. So I literally don't give a shit that Thomas has Ashton Genty on Monday Night Football. I am just going to assume that I have wrapped it up beyond reasonable doubt by then. It will be a 50 point lead going into Monday Night Football if I have anything to say about it. Lad McConkey, great job last week. Emeka Egbuka, great job last week. Bijan and Lamar, get your heads out of your ass and start performing at the level you should be performing at. That is the end of the rant. Team Unk, play better. I don't give a shit what my opponent does going forward. We are going to win games because we score more than anybody else.
Next up on the horizon, we have the 7th place Team Dev team taking on 8th place Nathan. They are two of the higher scoring 4 and 6 teams. If it were to come down to the wire, they would be on the outside looking in for the playoffs, but a win is massive for both these teams. You fall to 4 and 7, and you could be booking your spot to the toilet bowl.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of sick of just coming on this channel every single week and telling you guys that I need a win and I gotta get on a win streak and now's my time. And I'm 4 and 6. I'm tired of saying this. I'm tired of telling you guys that I need to win. I've made every trade no demand to a point where I only have 2 players left on my original roster that I drafted, and none of it matters. The only thing I'm hanging my hat on at this point is the fact that 2 weeks into that Jefferson trade that I made, it looks like I won that by quite a bit. So, yeah, I guess that's one big dub. I still suck. Oh, Nathan, you're giving up early. You're such a bum. Why are you giving up early? And why are you throwing a fit when you're still in the mix, technically? Give me a break. I'm playing the devs, and then the last 3 weeks of the season, I have Avery, Bush, and Mason, who are all playoff teams. I wouldn't be shocked if I lose out. The dev team every single week just seems to figure out how to work magic, and I understand they're 4 and 6 right now. They probably got something stupid cooking in their freaking pot of the luckiest starts of all time, and I'll have Joe Schmo drop 35 on my head and their flex. Like, no, there's zero hope, zero optimism.
The final matchup on the horizon, and what I would describe as the eliminator, we have the 10th place Zach taking on the 12th place Nick the Editor. 4 and 6 for Zach. We have 2 and 8 for Nick the Editor. But don't just look at the records in this matchup. With Zach, he has been fighting through injuries. He's been fighting tooth and nail through Drake London, through Jaden Daniels. His team has been hurt all year. Now on the other side with Nick the Editor, he's also had to deal with his fair share of injuries. Losing a guy like Tyreek Hill earlier in the season, really fighting the odds all year long. This is what I would describe as an eliminator matchup. Whoever loses this game will probably not be in contention for the Flock League playoffs. If you want to keep your season alive, Zach, if you want to keep your season alive, Nick, you have to show it on the gridiron in week 11.
All right, we play Nick the Editor this week, and a lot of you guys might expect me just to auto win against Nick, but the reality is his team finally, for the first time, is healthy. It's probably the best version of his team that it's been this entire season. For example, Brian Thomas looks like he's going to be back. Brock Bowers is healthy. Aaron Jones is healthy. He doesn't have like any serious injuries going on. He's got the Kansas City Chiefs defense, Chris Boswell, Drake May on Friday night. So this is not a free win at all. This is going to be a tough matchup. I have no idea who's going to win. I need Bucky Irving back if I have a shot. I like the team that we've got out there. We are going to start Chris Rodriguez against the Dolphins. Believe in Matthew Stafford to continue his MVP season. Aronde Gadsden is healthy and ready to go, so that's exciting. I think it might all kind of pan down to Xavier Worthy. If Xavier Worthy can get us a touchdown or not, I think that might end up being the reason we either win or lose. Drake May tonight, so it's definitely hate watch on Drake May for me on Thursday Night Football.
But like I said, this is an overview of the Flock League standings entering week 11, and I will bet you everything has changed after the week.
Now, the other thing that's worth pointing out is just how close this league is. Like, you have the top 2 to 3 teams that are pretty comfortably right now looking like playoff teams, but then after that, 4th place is Avery at 5-5. All the way down to 11th place is Danny at 4-6. Just a 1 game difference this week. So whether you're Danny at 4-6, whether you're Avery at 5-5, you're coming into this week saying like, I'm either a playoff team or 1 week away from being a playoff team. There's been teams that have dealt with a ton. Badaki starting 0-6. Zach having so many different injuries and getting the win last week, right? You have Nathan making big trades. Everybody, all those teams I just mentioned, currently 4-6. Now, if I had to look at this and predict it, I think there are a strong 5 teams in terms of playoff caliber teams. I would say those teams are me, Mason, the Fan Wagon, Avery, and then Bush. After that, I think most of these teams, assuming some injuries or bad luck doesn't happen, are fighting for that 6th spot. The Devs on paper look like, to me, they have the best actual team. Their points kind of back that up. But the way that Badaki's team has been playing, the way that Zach continues to make trades and moves, Nathan obviously has Puka Nacua, who's going to score him, in his eyes, 100 points a week. Everybody is pretty live right now, besides Nick the editor.
So the waivers run in the Flock League today and yesterday. Here we got Luther Burden and Jaden Higgins both going for $12 to Danny, looking to spend some of that fab on some young upside rookies. Zach gets Sean Tucker. Nick the editor gets the Chiefs defense. Avery going after Keon Coleman. Badaki grabbing Shamira DK. I grab a kicker. Sammy grabs Aaron Rodgers, the QB. Zach grabs a defense. And then Nick the editor grabbing Cedric Tillman. But then again, today we have a couple more waivers run. I switch out my defense for the 49ers. Sal grabbing Nick Chubb. Nick the editor grabbing Elikayo Manor instead of Cedric Tillman. And I'm stashing the Bucks defense and dropping Travis Hunter. And then we do have Michael Wilson, who actually was a pretty interesting name come up with the Marvin Harrison news, going to Nick the editor. So he goes Tillman to Io Manor to now Michael Wilson.
All right, so it's been a pretty wild 2 to 3 hours for me. Yesterday, I was negotiating with the Devs about a Jonathan Taylor deal, see what they could offer me. I said AJ Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs as the bones could be interesting. They weren't interested. I get out of a massage today, and the first thing I see is Joe, the Dev, telling me, yeah, AJ Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs sounds good. Let's do it. So I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? So we start talking a little bit. I want a third piece in that to really make it fair. They don't really seem to want to do it. We're still talking. All while this is happening, Mason sends me a trade. Breece Hall, Nico Collins, Ash trade. You know, I tell Mason to add Saquon and maybe it's interesting. He does. I didn't think he was gonna. So now it's interesting. Now I have 2 trades on the table where I get back an elite running back. Probably a top 5 running back at the position, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon Barkley. And I get a very strong wide receiver, especially in Mason's deal, but I just couldn't pull the trigger. At least right now. There's still some time. Maybe if 4 days ago, I didn't watch Jonathan Taylor drop 50 points and almost 300 total yards and 3 touchdowns on Danny's head, I'd maybe be a little bit more inclined. I will say, Jonathan Taylor, once he comes out of the bye week, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Texans, there's some really difficult defenses he has to face. None of those, though, matter for me. All that matters for me is week 16 and 17, assuming I get this bye week. I am very enticed by the idea of starting in the fantasy postseason Saquon Barkley and Nico Collins instead of Jonathan Taylor and Rashid Shaheed or DJ Moore, right? That second piece can really hold me down if Jonathan Taylor doesn't keep dropping 30 to 40 point weeks. We're trying to figure this out right now. There's a lot of deals on the table. There might be a third deal on the table right now as well for Jonathan Taylor with a similar structure, 2 to 3 solid to elite players. But I think the Devs are my best shot here. I think we can get something done. But we'll see. So I was on FaceTime with a family member while I was pretty deep into these trade discussions, especially with Mason. And I honestly didn't know what to do. In terms of my rest of season rankings, I pretty much have Jonathan Taylor for Saquon and Nico Collins as a fair deal. So I was on FaceTime and I just asked this family member, hey, which side of this trade would you rather have? They know nothing about football. They literally know not a single thing about, they don't know a single player besides maybe Aaron Rodgers. They said Jonathan Taylor. And I said, you know nothing about football, but maybe this is a sign from the football gods. And I declined the trade from Mason. So now we're working on the Devs and this new second trade that has now come in. Look, he's the #1 overall player in fantasy football. It's not going to probably take just 2 players in return. It's probably going to take 3. A 3 for 2 or something along the lines where I can upgrade both my flex spots. But we'll see what happens these next couple of hours because these trade talks have been very juicy.
All right, let me explain the Jonathan Taylor situation, right? Because I just spent the last 2 hours spazzing thinking I was going to get him. So I have a meeting with the devs of flockfantasy.com this morning, and they bring up a hypothetical. They say, Mason, would you rather have Jahmyr Gibbs and AJ Brown or Jonathan Taylor? And I go, oh, easy question. I would take Jonathan Taylor. Now they're 4-6, right? So them being 4-6, it's tough for them to go out there and trade for Jonathan Taylor when Jonathan Taylor's on a bye this week, and every single week for them's a must win. But I still told him, I was like, you know what? It's such good value that you may have to take it and honestly flip Jonathan Taylor for more. And then I had the bright idea going like, oh, if Sal's dumb enough to trade away Jonathan Taylor, why don't I throw my hat in the ring? So I throw out a little feeler offer of Breece Hall and Nico Collins for Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, laughably bad offer. We would see if he would accept. He rejects, and in the chat, he goes, yeah, I'm going to need Saquon Barkley. And I go, oh, no harm, no foul. Not going to lie, I was streaming at the time, so I just asked my chat, hey, hypothetically, would y'all rather have Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins, or Jonathan Taylor? They said Jonathan Taylor, so I go ahead, I send that offer to Sal, and Sal sends in the league chat for everybody to see, hey, just let y'all know I'm about to trade away Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's out the door. So I'm going through going, oh, is Jonathan Taylor going to come to my team? Am I going to be able to send Saquon Barkley and Nico Collins for him? Is Sal about to trade Jonathan Taylor for, I don't know, some combination of Jahmyr Gibbs and A.J. Brown? And he tells the entire league he's going to do it, tells the world he's going to do it, and he backs out. You could have had greatness, Sal. You could have had to deal with me, but instead, you're sitting over here with Jonathan Taylor. Shake my head.
I'm on my way to the Kroger's. I need to win bad in this league. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and we're gonna take some desperate measures tonight, boys.
Very scared right now, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and I cannot let another tight end ruin my flock season. This is something I learned from the Harry Potter movies.
Georgimus, Kittlemus, no touchdownify, catch him off.
What are you doing?
No, it's for a bit.
Blow the candles out.
Okay.
Now, if I was Avery, I'd be worrying about my own tight end, Sam Laporta, who hasn't practiced all week, but keep saying your little prayers about Georgie with Brock Purdy back. Somebody's going to hear him.
Hey, Mike, I love Trevion too, but let's settle down a little bit, you bastard. Trevion! Trevion Henderson! Let's go! Henderson! Second of the game! Let's go! Henderson scores a third! Trevion Henderson! Let's go!
I thought I heard something outside, but it turns out that I can hear Danny yelling from an hour away.
Yeah, we just got the third, I think at this point, Trevion Henderson touchdown. So I want to congratulate Danny, my friend. Great week this week. I am very happy for you. Now, if I look at the updated standings, you are going to move to 5-6, still have the lowest points scored in the entire league, still be in the toilet bowl, but you always had week 11 in the 2025 season.
Hopefully Mason's where I was about 3 days ago watching Trevion Henderson score his third touchdown, because that's the gut punch that the Josh Jacobs touchdown felt like to me. So shout out to Danny, my co-host, for making Mason feel that way.
First of all, I need Stephon Diggs to stop it because this isn't nice. I would just, no more points. Second of all, with every Trevion Henderson touchdown tonight, I think Danny moves Trevion Henderson up in his rankings 5 spots. So if we get another Trevion Henderson touchdown, you're probably looking at running back 2 overall Trevion Henderson in Danny's rankings. I'm just preparing you, but check the site when the video comes out and you're going to see that I'm right.
So the same Stephon Diggs that was a throw-in in the Nico Collins trade, according to Mason, of course, and everybody else in the league, according to Zach, my 1 week fix to my problem. That same Stephon Diggs hasn't played a game where he hasn't scored a touchdown, unless maybe he won't score one tonight, but he has 20 points, so I really care. Since he joined the team, 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks, and in the 4th week here, he's got 19.5 points. That's Stephon Diggs. The Stephon Diggs that Mason couldn't wait to trade, that nobody wanted, that's Stephon Diggs, has 19.5 points. We just have an eye for talent here on the fan wagon. It looks like Stephon might carry us to a Avery TikTok dance by the end of this thing.
This dude, Stephon Diggs, knocked up Cardi B and then just screwed me too. on Thursday Night Football. What have I done? Why did I make this bet? I knew I was gonna lose. Now I get to lose and be humiliated. Why did I do this? Let's hope Sunday's a lot better, because right now I am on a 100-mile-per-hour train towards humiliation.